variable.
Prologue. In a world teeming with those who wanted him dead, Qin Zheng never thought it'd be a plague that would take him down. He had crushed Hunduns that dwarfed the greatest of man-made monuments. He had bested legions of chrysalises, commanded by fools who'd refused to surrender to him. He had roused the workers of 7 bickering nations into rising against the industrialists, bankers, and landlords who subjugated them. And he was still young. He should have had so many more years to further his revolution. It was absurd that he was now at the mercy of something more minuscule than the eye could see. A virus, ravaging through his every organ, rending him from the inside, making pustules bloom like cursed flowers over his skin. He felt more powerless than when he'd been a gutter child spat on and laughed at for being the son of a whore. It was one thing to gaze up and dream of infinity. It was another to reach the peak, only to plummet with so little warning. After burrowing the yellow dragon under Mount Zhurong, deep enough to access the living energy of the planet itself, he disconnected from the pilot link. "Shifu, this is not how he began to say to the woman coming to consciousness in the yin seat in front of him, someone he'd never thought he'd pilot a chrysalis with, for she had always fought at his side in her own unit. Queen General Mi Xuan, pilot of the 3-legged crow, leader of the Iron Widows, his mentor. "Quit wasting your energy on talking," she grunted over her shoulder, her words muffled by a protective leather mask, its glass lenses fogging up. She was the only one left in his nascent empire of Huaxia who dared speak to him this way. She shed her temporary yellow dragon armor on the yin seat like a golden husk, and stood up in her black conduction suit. She'd brought her usual 3-legged crow armor into the cockpit, but she wouldn't need it for what would come next. Qin Zheng sprouted thin needles out of his gauntlet palms to let her manipulate the qi flow between him and the dragon. His council of sages had vehemently opposed this experiment, but they had not come up with any alternative solutions. He was showing symptoms of the most aggressive form of flower pox. He had mere days before his organs began liquefying right in his body. A cure would not be produced within days. Silently, he cursed the gods. Even after he had resumed tribute to them, they would not respond to his requests for dialogue. His sole remaining option was this audacious attempt to freeze himself in time. "Shifu," Qin Zheng said in a smaller voice than he had used in years. It pained him to leave Huaxia in the hands of others, but he could scarcely hold on to his existence, much less his empire. "Do not let them wake me until a cure is made, no matter how long it takes." General Mi's steely eyes glistened behind the glass lenses of her mask. "That I can promise you." She pressed her bare palms into the needles on his gauntlets. Her jaw clenched. Blood trickled out between their hands. The meridians carrying her qi through her body darkened across the few swaths of visible skin on her neck and the backs of her hands. Water was the qi type she had the least affinity for, yet she wielded it like a roaring tide. Its coldness pervaded like slush into Qin Zheng's blood. His instinct was to control it, the way he controlled everything. But for once, he let it happen to him. If a passive stream of qi could be established through the dragon like a river flowing downhill, while its primal particles were fine-tuned to filter only water type into Qin Zheng, this coldness could theoretically persist indefinitely. "Xuan Jie," he breathed out as his consciousness frosted over. An improper way for a student to refer to their mentor. As improper as the way she, in turn, never used his imperial title. A slight tremor went through her. Qin Zheng wanted to say more, but could no longer conjure the words to encapsulate everything he was feeling. "Get some rest, Zheng Er," she murmured. "I will come back to you."